to another video. This video is a continuation of the one I posted last week, where I talked about why therapy is for you. And in this video, I'm going to be sharing some quick tips on finding the right therapist. Again, I am no expert, so I'm just sharing from my own personal experience. And yeah, these tips are really simple and really speak to personality, right? I think, again, the conversation of therapy is always this huge one and sometimes very triggering and traumatic one where we're just talking about relationship and finding relationship with a person that is professionally able to help you and navigate you through your feelings, thoughts, dreams, desires, and etc. So let's begin. My first tip to choosing the right therapist for you, and this is a word that is definitely oversaturated on the internet and just in general, but the word is energy. And I think it's very important to really pay attention to the energy and the way that you feel while you're auditioning different therapist options, right? Again, energy, it's an oversaturated word, but it is very important and it's a real thing. I don't think we understand and really realize how we feel and what we feel really can affect a room, a conversation, a relationship, our job. It affects so many things. And so when you're looking for a therapist, right, and you're meeting different ones and making your choice, it's important to pay attention to how you feel when you're speaking to them, just off the rip, not even going into details about your life. I mean, just off the rip. Hi, my name is so-and-so, and they're introducing themselves. How do you feel when they introduce themselves? How do you feel when they're talking about their credentials? How do you feel when they ask you questions, right? The energy is super important in that moment. So definitely pay attention to that. My second one, and I want to make this clear that I haven't written any of these down. Sometimes I do like scripts for my video and like prepare, but this one is like literally coming off the rip. So, but the next one, my next tip is decide if you want to, I want to say it correctly. Decide if you want to listen or be heard. And maybe you want to be both, right? I say that because I just know in my personal experience, like I wanted to be heard, right? I decided to start therapy because I wanted to make sure that everything I was thinking in my head, was it true? Was it real? Did I make this up? Where did this come from? And so I needed to speak to someone who didn't know me, who doesn't know nothing about me. And I just want to talk and share and see, am I bugging? Did I make this up? Again, like, where are these thoughts coming from? What do these thoughts mean, right? How do they relate to my world, my career, my relationships, my family, my friends, all of these things? And so I personally, again, went to therapy to be heard, where I know that there are some people who go and they just want to listen, right? They just want to be in a space, again, with someone who don't know them, and they go into therapy being like, this is my story, these are my dreams, what can you tell me? It's sort of like this, sort of like a psychic kind of situation. Is like, tell me about my love life, tell me about this, right? And so they expect the therapist to just do all the work by talking. And I mean, again, I didn't go into my situation like that, but I would imagine that it would, I don't know how much you can grow from not really being a participant in the work, right? And let's be honest, there are therapists that will just talk and try to tell you what to do and how you did this wrong and da-da-da-da-da. But you want to make sure that when someone is giving you advice, right, if your therapist is giving you advice, that it's authentic to who you are, right? And I think if you go into it just wanting to listen to someone and you just want someone to sort of save you, you might just take any information, right? There was a meme I saw a while ago that they basically, and I'm paraphrasing, but basically it's okay to disagree with your therapist. It's okay to receive some advice, receive a suggestion, and disagree and feel like that's not in connection with who you are and what you know have in mind for your life. And so, again, it's really important that it's okay if you want to listen and be helped. I mean, they're there to help, right? But remember that it is a relationship and that you have to be a active participant in that bond. Again, with my situation, I went to be heard, and so I loved that my therapist, I would share my thoughts and my stories and everything, and then she would jump in, right? And I love that because, yes, I want to be heard, but I also want you to do your job. I also want to hear what you think. I also want, I want to hear, again, I want to hear some advice. I want to hear an opinion or a suggestion from someone who doesn't know me, right? Who's someone who just met me. And I can imagine, again, that those who, how do I say this? Basically, this is great. I'll just segue into a third tip. Go into therapy. No. No. Tip number 3. Tip number 3 would be, in your search for a therapist, do not settle, right? Like, it is a real relationship. This is someone who you're going to be sharing some of your thoughts with, right? Maybe some thoughts that you've never shared with anyone before. And so you want to make sure that you can really trust this person. And so, as I said in my last video, like, why therapy is for you, emphasis on the you part is because you don't want to just rush into this work. You want to make sure that you're going to be doing this work with someone who really cares about you and cares about the development of not just you, but anyone that they meet, right? How are they as a person, which goes back to what I said about energy, right? You can really get into someone by having just a few moments of conversation. You can really understand how they feel about the world and people, and just everything. So don't rush into the situation. Take your time and find the therapist that is best for you. Tip number 4, find a therapist who has similar beliefs, right? Is important. It is important, right? To be able to speak to someone who, and I'm specifically talking to people of color right now, right? Like, we have to make sure that we are speaking to therapists who really truly believe that Black Lives Matter, right? Also, if you are queer, trans, non-binary, wherever you fall on the spectrum, you want to be speaking to a therapist who believes that your life matters, that your love matters, that trans lives matter, right? It is important to be with a therapist who may not understand where you come from, but when you share your story, they show empathy. They want to learn more. They ask questions and questions that not help the work of you developing, but literally maybe they don't know where you come from. Maybe they don't know about your community. Maybe they don't know about your lifestyle. Whatever it is, you want to have a therapist who cares. Because when you are speaking to a therapist who cares, it is easy to share, Ooh, I like that. I told y'all I'm not working on a script. This is all coming off the dome. Last tip, number 5. Number 5. The last tip in picking the right therapist or the perfect therapist for you is, what is it? It is find a therapist who knows when you have done the work. And I say that because I started therapy last year in March, and in December it ended. Our sessions ended. My therapist was like, at the beginning of December, was like, Curtis, at the end of December, our sessions will have to end. And I do think that it was a part of like the program and what I had signed up for, but also it was also affirming the growth that I had done, right? The work that I had done on myself. And I'm not going front. I was really sad, and it felt like a real major breakup. Like, it felt like a healthy relationship. We had been dating for 9 months. Math is not my ministry, y'all. So we were dating. Look, it felt like we were dating for 9 months, and then my therapist was like, it's not you, it's me, or it's not me, it's you. Either way, they let me off. Like, she let me go, so sweet, and I was just like, oh my God, this sucks, this hurts. But now I recognize, and shout out to my friend Kim, who affirmed it. She said, you're just basically graduating, right? This is your therapy graduation. And when she said that, it really changed my perspective on just where I was at and what this meant. And it was like one of those mother bird situations, just like leaving the nest, like pushing you out of the nest to remind you that you have wings, that you look at me talking to myself in the camera, that I was doing the work and that you will do the work. And so what were our tips? Recap. Pay attention to the energy when you're speaking to your therapist from the very beginning. Number 2, decide if you want to decide if you want to listen or be heard. Either way, try to do both. Find a way to do both and make sure that your therapist is doing both. Number 3. What was number 3? I forgot number 3. I forgot number 3, y'all. Ugh. Number 3. Don't rush the process of finding a therapist. Take your time. I would rather you take as long as you need to find the right therapist for you, so that when you do begin to do the work, it will be a much better journey, a more comfortable journey, in the sense that you have found the person that you trust and are willing to do this work with. Number 4, again, is to find a therapist who has similar beliefs. What are the things you care about? If it's politics, you may want to find someone who cares about the same things that you care about, right? If it is, again, if you're queer, if you're Black, if you're Latino, if culture is important to you, right? Basically, if culture is important to you, having a therapist who speaks to that, who shares a similar background, similar testimonies, whatever it is. And number 5, find a therapist that isn't afraid to let go. When you have done the work and when you have committed yourself to doing the work, you want to have a therapist who feels like a parent, a mentor that is saying, hey, you have done the work and now you can do the work without me. Don't be afraid of that. You got it. And when you do all of the work, all of the crying, all of the thinking, all of the dreaming, you will realize that, yes, I actually have done the work and I have nothing to be worried about. I have all the tools that I need. I hope that this video was helpful. It was all over the place. I'm trying to beat the sun right now. As you can see, it's going down. It gets really dark here in New York super, super fast. But again, this video was random, but it's important, and I hope that it's helpful. Love you all. See you in my next video. Later.